Yeah, so adulting is ghetto. Like ghetto. So this morning I had to go get 2 new tires, an oil change. Child, being a woman is just not for child. I don't recommend adulting. I don't be nothing. I just and I was when the lady I gave the woman the keys and all that. I said, "How long this gonna take?" She said 2 to 3 hours. I'm thinking to myself, what I was gonna do? I ain't finna sit up in this office. And I got my little Dory Sport black pack, and we walked around the neighborhood. I came to the light, and I was just remembering to sit up there laughing. I know somebody passed by. What is she laughing at? She crazy, but I was just thinking. I remember when I didn't have to do none of this. I remember there was a time when I had a man that would take the car to get the oil change. He just knew. He knew. Even when he would kind of be off a little bit, he would ask me. I'm like, that's your job. Check the sticker in the car. Like, he kept the stuff in the glove compartment. He would oil change, brakes, tires, put gas in the car, go wash the car. He would either take it to the car wash and let them do it, or he would do it himself. He'd take that car up there to 64th, not 64th, Hyde Park and West Boulevard, and wash that car down, one of my cars or whatever it is, and make sure it was good, like I said. Child, there's something about a man taking care of the woman in that type of situation, taking care of that house and that car and stuff like that. Men take notes. I know we got to the point where not everybody know how those skills, but if you've witnessed that in your life, you understand. I was a daddy's girl, so my daddy took care of those type of things until he couldn't take care of those things, and always says make sure you find a man. It's not that you need a man, but you want a man that knows how to do these things, because it's going to make life simpler. And when I tell you, that man Bagheera, that's my nickname for him, made sure he took care of those things, and I was truly grateful. And I was sitting there laughing like, I just remember reminiscing about you. Not like that, because Lord knows we'll never, ever, ever get back together. Child, that's like one of my nearest, dearest friends. But what I tell you about an Aries and a Pisces, the best of friends, relationship, if y'all can't figure it out, it's not going to be, but you can be the greatest friends ever when you have the mutual understanding and really understand. One thing about a Pisces, we see far into the future. People don't understand that, but we see in certain things, and we understand, and we listen, we gravitate in that. When I first remember when I met that man, and he told me about all the things, realistically, it was a reason to run, but I didn't run. I took the challenge. He almost got killed several times in the military, shit, by a family member. I tell people one thing: dealing with certain people, dealing with people who've been through the military and been through combat, dealing with people who've been through prison situations, and dealing with people who've been through mainly physical, sexual abuse, verbally, emotionally, and all that kind of stuff, is not for the weak. Check on your friends that are dealing with people with any of those categories. Check on your friends, whether it's a man or a woman. Check on your friends, because they may need help. Because Lord knows that is a lot to endure, because you go through these battles and stuff like that. What I mean, and I can laugh about this now, that man was mean. When I tell you about an Aries man, he can be mean for no reason, and I just don't be understanding. But hurt people. And I remember just this Saturday, and he and I had this conversation. He called me, and I was just thinking about something. I asked him. I said, and not to say I didn't know, but one thing about a Pisces, we always need reassurance about certain things. And I asked him. I said, "Why did you do those things, even though I was doing this one thing?" Because he used to tell me. He said, "You do things, and you know." Nobody's willing to do. You care in a certain way. You show so much empathy. He said a lot of things you did for me, I just never experienced in life from my own mother, because he had been abandoned from his mother, and his mother had just like basically dropped him off, didn't want nothing to do with him, like several times, to the point where you could tell how he mishandled women on purpose, due to the fact that, and that's why I still tell mothers, especially your sons, make sure you give your son the love, so that way they can give the women they date better love, good love, or whatever it is. But yeah, he was, I did things like through a surprise birthday parties and stuff like that, things in there. But like I said, for the things he did, like change the oils, things like he didn't have to do, like it was a mutual. But when it came down to disagreements and stuff like that. We just couldn't really, because we had different mindsets on certain things. And like, when I thought with the empathetic mindset, he thought like, I ain't doing that and you shouldn't do that either. And I'm like, yeah, we don't want to think like that. Like, because I always think about karma, and I always think about, what would Jesus do? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think he wasn't an atheist, but he just definitely didn't believe in God. The only time I remember experienced him going to church was my mama funeral, my daddy funerals, pretty much. That's it. He wasn't going to church for nothing else. And, he had, like I said, a bad experience. When you go through trauma and stuff like that, a lot of people, don't believe in God, because all those things that happen is like, how is there a God when I keep going through these battles and your God keeps hitting me there? Every time I get up, you get knocking me down. So I can kind of understand it, which is why I have so much empathy for a lot of people. But like I said, I can laugh at it now, but I wasn't laughing at that time, because a lot of times I'd be like, not again, but I realized, but it got to a point where I was like, you know what, Sheila, you don't have to deal with this no more. And when it finally got to that point in 2018, we was together from 2011 to 2018, I was like, you don't have to deal with this. And I just stopped dealing with it. And it got to the point where he was like, like we would go back and forth and this and this and that. And he was like, I really realized you was really through with me. And he said a few years after that, he was like, I just anticipated you was taking me back. He said, you took me back all them other years. I said, yeah, I got tired. And I got to the point where I got so numb to the stuff. Like, I was just like, shit, hell, if I'm going to be miserable, I might as well be miserable by myself. And he said, you know what, I agree to that. And he said, it hurt like hell that, you never want to take me back. I said, never, ever. And I always said like that. He said, you ain't got to be like that. I'm like, shit, I need you to know I'm standing on business. But that's, now we can have that relationship where we can laugh and joke and stuff like that. But it wasn't like that years ago. And here we, almost 8 years. That's like one of my dogs, because when I feel like, because he had been with me through a lot of things. My mother passed away. My mother passed away. Then my grandparents passed away. My sister passed away. My dad passed away. My great uncle, which was my favorite uncle, he had been with me so many deaths. He didn't kill him. I know somebody think, damn, did he kill him? No, he didn't. But he had been through it. And one thing an Aries man is, don't have no damn emotionally intelligence. Like, they don't know how to try. I remember when somebody, I think it was my mom, that man was patting my back like I was coughing. I said, if you don't let me the hell go, we be fine. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I don't know how to hug and all that kind of stuff. And again, I can laugh at this stuff now, but I couldn't laugh at it then. I was just like, how did I get with this old me, But when I say that man didn't play about Sheila Hill, Master William, he, to this day, he don't play. And, everybody joke, and everybody that knows this man, child was scared of him, and everybody joke. One of my childhood friends asked me, I was like, man, that's the strongest man I ever made, like, cause I mean, hands big, like baseball miss, like, I've seen him knock somebody out, like in just one punch, and I was like, well, damn, but loving to a certain, in his own type of way. But grateful and thankful, because these things that I learned from him, like for the car, like I'm grateful. But not to say I didn't learn it from my father, but it's just like he just, reiterated a lot of things that I'm just grateful and thankful. Like, I can go pay for something. I can go know what to ask the mechanic or tell the mechanic. Hell, I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, hey, tell him this. And he'll get on the phone. Sometimes he'll drive from wherever he is. And he done drove from Vegas one time. This is after we had broken up. He had did that. When I say he don't play, because I never played about him. I always showed him. And it's to this day, we don't get along. Half the time we'd be ready to kill each other. But one thing we don't play, he done moved on, and I'm so happy. And, like, I was like, bless that woman. And he's like, you can always take, like, hell. But that's my dog. But sometimes I got to sit back and just think about, how I've been grown in so many situations through people and all that. And I'm so grateful and thankful. But Lord knows, adulting is ghetto. That's all I mean. Adulting is ghetto. But make sure you have your ducats and you put this money to start. Stop spending money. So you can take care of them oil changes.